Hello, it's me, Brandon Burns, aka Rowdy Ruffman from YouTube. Hello, my YouTube friends. I know I haven't said that catchphrase in a while. Maybe I need to again. I don't know. I haven't said it in, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember right now. I'm sorry. But anyway, in this video, I wanted to do a. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a review. I just want to tell you this Blu-ray of wrestling I have. My good friend here on YouTube, Jamming Music Man, James Green, he gave me this last year for Christmas, and I was supposed to do, his trademark Christmas video packages, open up the stuff he gave me on, for Christmas. I always do that. I didn't do it last year. I just forgot to. I remember he gave me this and DVDs of, which one was it? I know it was The Beautiful People. I think it was Velvet Sky, yeah. I can't find those DVDs anywhere. I'll have to find them and review them too. But I remember he gave me this Blu-ray. I know he showed this Blu-ray on his YouTube page a while back. But it's WCW Money Nitro Season 1 from September 1995 to December 1995. You get the very first episode of WCW Money Nitro on September 4th, 1995, where Hulk Hogan took on Big Bubba Rogers, a.k.a. the Big Boss Man. And the first appearance of Lex Luger in WCW for over 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember right now. Of course, you get Sting versus Ric Flair when Lex Luger interfered in that match. You get to see some of the Disco Inferno. You remember the Disco Inferno if you're watching WCW back in the day. Disco Fever. I kind of used to like that character. I know he was a jobber, but still, he was kind of funny. And you get to build up to War Games. Yeah, War Games. Halloween Havoc, where Jimmy Hart turned heel against Hulk Hogan. When the Giant came out, Hogan and the Giant had that awful. I know it's pretty bad, but I sort of liked it, but it was pretty bad. That monster truck match at Halloween Havoc. So you get to build up to Halloween Havoc. Lex Luger and Jimmy Hart turn the heel on that pay-per-view. And the next night on Nitro, where they try to get Jimmy Hart to explain why he turned on Hulk Hogan. And I don't think he gave you a clear answer, but it doesn't really matter. It's wrestling. You know how it is. And you get that wrestler that was looking for a manager. I think his name was Buddy Parker. I can't remember right now, but Sergeant Buddy Parker, Lieutenant. I remember the one Nitro where Mean Gene was interviewing Jimmy Hart, and he was like, I'm looking for a manager. And Jimmy Hart was like, well, take a look at my manager, baby. Look at the total package, Lex Luger. And then take this quarter and find you a manager. Ha 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 ha. Man, Jimmy Hart was such a badass heel. Him and Bobby Heenan. And of course, we get the late Stephen Michael doing commentary for 96. I'm sorry, for 95 and half of 96. But this is from September to December of 95. So maybe one day I'll get season 2 of WCW Nitro, the whole year of 1996. Oh, that would be amazing. We finally get some of the NWO Nitro segments. That would be so cool. But right now, I just have the first one on Blu-ray. But like I was saying, you get Steve Michael as a commentary. He and Bobby Heenan, they was always fighting each other on the commentary. Was Eric Bischoff before Eric Bischoff became the stereotype heel president of WCW. I mean, when he joined the NWO, he was just like Vince McMahon, the babyface commentary. He was already the president of WCW, but so 95, you get them as a commentary team, and sometimes Stephen Michael would bring out his Chihuahua Pepe. What else you get on here? I'm trying to think of what else you get on here. I mean, you had the build up to Starcade, and the angle where Bobby Heenan was making a deal with New Japan. No, it wasn't New Japan, but something with Japan at Starcade '95. If the manager Sonny Ono and his Japanese wrestlers, if they won all the tournament at Starcade '95, the Battle Bowl, not Battle Bowl, but whatever I forget what you call it. They would took over WCW. But that didn't happen, luckily. And you get the build up to World War III. That was their answer to the Royal Rumble. Yeah, it started at Halloween Havoc, where the Giant thought he won the WCW World Title. Him and Yeti, Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger, when they whooped Hulk Hogan, they kicked his butt. And the Giants thought he was going to be the world champion, but that didn't happen. So the title was vacated. And that World War III, that was their answer to the Royal Rumble. I always say that, but I just love saying it. November before Starcade was WCW's WrestleMania. Whoever would win the world belt, they would be awarded the world title. Sort of like '92 Royal Rumble, where Ric Flair won that match. Of course, the Giant didn't win. Randy Savage won, but Hogan, he didn't really go through over the top rope. The Giant pulled him under the rope, pulled his body under the ropes. I mean, let me start over. You know I fuck up these videos all the time. Yeah, the Giant, he pulled Hulk Hogan's body under the ropes. So Hogan wasn't really eliminated, but they just gave the title to Randy Savage anyway. Of course, Randy Savage, he lost that belt at Super Brawl to the Nature Boy. Woo! Yeah, you get the build up to World War III, and also I forgot to mention, in December of '95, where Medusa returns to WCW. She was formerly Alundra Blaze, the WWF Women's title. It was the WWF back then. She threw the title belt in the trash can, and she said, "This is where they call WCW the big boys play. But this is also where the big girls play." And I heard they were supposed to make a WCW women's division, a women's world title, but it didn't happen. Bad luck, but she was blackballed for WWE for a while. I say she got inducted to the Hall of Fame, but I haven't watched WWE in a long time. I miss old school WWE, WWF. Yeah, I miss those days. But anyway, this is the first season of WCW Nitro, September 4th, 1995 to late December 1995. I forget what day the last Monday was in December 95. I would look it up, but I don't want to. But you know what I mean, but yeah. And of course, on the first Nitro, you get the late Brian Pillman facing Justin Sunderlagen. I never say that Japanese name right, but yeah. And there was a time when the Four Horsemen was going to reunite with Brian Pillman, Arn Anderson, and Ric Flair. And St. Christopher Wild was going to be the new member, but Brian Pillman, he left the WCW in 96 for the WWF and to feud with Steve Austin. You all know that feud with him and Steve Austin. They were the WCW tag team partners, the Hollywood Blondes. What else they had on here? I'm trying to think. You just get excuse me for a minute. Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom. I forgot the one Nitro where the fans could call and vote who they want to see in the main event. I remember when with that match going on, you could hear that phone ringing, or was it it was a dial tone ringing, not really ringing, but I miss how phones were back in the 90s. But they voted for Sting versus Ric Flair. This was after Halloween Havoc. Remember Sting in the locker room with the babyface team said, "I want Ric Flair bad. I want Ric Flair bad." And yeah, you get the feud between Sting and Ric Flair. What else you get on here? I'm trying to make this video a little longer. Trying to think, what else you get on here? What else was going on at the time? Yeah, the Dungeon of Doom. They still had that Dungeon of Doom storyline. And they had Prince Ikea. He always would say, Taskmaster, my son, the Taskmaster, my son. Oh, Taskmaster. One Nitro, the beginning of the show where Eric Bischoff, Bobby Heenan, and Steve Michael were talking, that's when the Prince Ikea interrupt, sitting on his throne. He said, Taskmaster, my son, the Taskmaster. I always liked when he did that part. And I say you get the Renegade on here. You know, he was their version of the Ultimate Warrior at the time. I know a lot of people don't like the Renegade, and he was okay, I guess. I always felt bad for him back in the late 90s where he killed himself. Trying to think what else you get on here. What matches? What was another match on here? I'm trying to think. I guess that's it. That's all I have to say right now. Yeah, I remember Vader. He was already fired at WCW at this time. He went to the WWF months later. He was supposed to be in the War Games match with Hogan, Sting, and Randy Savage against the Dungeon of Doom. But they decided to put Lex Luger in his place. It was like a WWF WCW trade-off, if you can think about it. Well, Vader was fired because he had a backstage fight with Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. Oh yeah, you get Mr. Wonderful on here wrestling with his theme, Wonderful, Wonderful, or however that theme goes. I forget to mention, you do still get Johnny B. Bad on here, aka the Wild Man Mark Miro. That was when they showed that clip from WCW Saturday Night where we was feuding with DDP and I think it was Matt Muscle, I can't remember. When they slashed his tires, he said, I said, slash tire. Or I think they told him they slashed all four of his tires and he said, I said one slash tire. And that's where the brawl began on WCW Saturday Night when he got in the fight with DDP. But anyway, that's all I can remember right now. Yes, I got WCW Season 1. The 95, the whole year of 95. I wish I could get the next year. I wish I could own the other volumes. 95, Season 1, Season 2, 96. Season 3, 97. Season 4, 98. Season 5, 99. When WCW started, was really going downhill, but I still want to see it anyway. I don't care. And WCW Season 6 and 7, 2000, 2001, where the WWF finally bought WCW, and 2000, most of the year 2000, the Vince Russo era. Oh God! And I wish I could get the first volume of WCW Thunder 2. I think WCW Thunder premiered in 98. Was it late 97? No, it was 98. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this video. This was given to me, like I said, from James Green, a.k.a. Jammy Music Man. And he is going to give me another Christmas package. I'll do that video whenever his packages come in my mailbox. But, yeah, if you can get a copy of this, you should check it out. It's so freaking amazing. But anyway, that's it. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to subscribe to my channel. You don't have to like me. You don't have to respect me. I just need more subscribers. I really do. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you respect me. I just need more subscribers. Anyway, that's it. I'm out. Have a good night.